In the tumultuous summer of 2020, during a racial protest, in the town of Birmingham, Alabama, a Confederate monument was overturned. Protesters discovered beneath it lie a buried manuscript entitled, The Book of Lucifer. The Book of Lucifer is an account of famous historical religious stories as retold by Satan, aka Lucifer Jehovahson. The volumes contained herein are highly controversial, and it is advised that the weak at heart steer clear from it. Skilled literary professor, Lord Cain de Wilt, will read excerpts while also including interviews and testimonies of people whose lives have been forever changed by this book.
Dearest reader, I don't often engage in pop culture, yet I feel a recent event has sparked feelings within me I cannot and will not suppress. If you were among the 123 millions of viewers who watched the Superbowl in 2024, then I'm afraid that you were subjected to a feeble attempt to peddle a false image of Jesus. Jesus does not get us, and I can prove it. I will help you to detox from the brainwashing of a Super Bowl commercial entitled Footwash, in this episode of the Book of Lucifer called Give Jesus an Inch and He Will Take a Foot. A group of, shall I say, confused Christians, along with tens of millions of dollars from Hobby Lobby, gave birth to an AI-generated abomination of false advertising. By meditatively showing images of certain people in triggering situations engaged in a Quentin Tarantino-style foot-worshipping scenario, they want you to believe that Jesus is some kind of big old loving teddy bear. First of all, madam, Jesus was a mild racist. Madam, please, don't pretend to be surprised. Dearest reader, I'm coming straight from the survival scroll, as they say. In Matthew chapter 15, verses 21 through 28, Jesus initially ignores a Canaanite woman who asks for his help. He refers to her as a dog in comparison to the children of Israel. Is this not cultural insensitivity? Is this not discrimination and disrespect? What if your mother, or your mother's mother, did lay herself prostrate at the tangy toes of Jesus only for him to humiliate her and to call her a dog? To call you and your people dogs, before begrudgingly granting her the miracle? The commercial has people of other faiths solemnly interacting in this outrageous interfaith foot orgy. Muslims, Jews, Taylor Swift fans all intermingling. I think not. You know that these are lies. Was it not Jesus who said, I am the way and the truth and the light. No man cometh unto the Father but by me. Dearest reader, how will you argue that that is inclusive? Jesus wants all of the glory of God for himself. It was not I, but it was Jesus who said, I shall be as the Most High. And behold, after his campaign in Judea, he has become as the Most High. He is worshipped in the same house as God, his name interchanged with my Father's. He alone wants your very soul, and if you decide to think for yourself and to act on your own accord and not to follow Jesus, there will be incredible consequences and repercussions. Jesus said himself, But those enemies of mine who did not want me to be king over them, bring them here and kill them in front of me. Luke 19:27, I said it. Jesus always low-key promotes violence and or the intolerance towards those who oppose him. Another one of the salacious false claims of the video is that Jesus did not teach hate. Dearest reader, I hardly believe King Richard marched down to Jerusalem with the military might of England in a crusade to just wash feet. The Spanish Inquisition was not about washing feet. It was about stretching necks with ropes on the gallows. Hear me out. Jesus is full of hateful people, places, and things. Yea, any noun, I say unto you, he hates it. If anyone comes to me and does not hate their father and mother, wife and children, brother and sister, yea, hate even their own life. Such a person cannot be my disciple. Luke 14:26, I said it, I stand on business. Black-hearted Jesus will justify severing familial ties, all while promoting a cult-like devotion. Did Jesus show respect when he became history's first active shooter, so to speak? When he went into the Jewish temple and began to beat people with whips? Was it not a crime of hate when he entered a place of worship, wielding a weapon he intended to use on the people inside? Did he not flip tables and destroy private property, disturb the peace, endanger all the minors present? This, of course, would be prosecuted today as a hate crime. To express such intolerance as to try to violently disrupt a church because you don't fancy what they say? To beat a teacher because you don't like what they teach, rather than using his words? Did he not implicate violence as his first resort to this problem? Jesus only loves himself, but let him tell it, he is the victim of his loving you, like a true textbook narcissist. And should anything fail to yield into the empty narcissistic black hole that is Jesus, they will suffer. Even the landscaping. Jesus cursed a fig tree in an incident recorded in both Matthew chapter 21, verses 18 through 22, and Mark chapter 11, verses 12 through 14 and 20 through 25. In the story, Jesus encounters an innocent fig tree that is not bearing fruit, even though it was not the season for figs. Dearest reader, the true definition of a terrorist is one who demands the impossible, usually at gunpoint. Jesus, that sniffling cur whose wit is as feeble as a dandelion in a hurricane, curses the poor tree, saying, "May thou neverest bearest fruit again." The very next day the disciples find the tree withered from the roots. Isn't that the way it goes? Perfect God makes you sick and commands you to be well, to receive his love that will leave you with more holes than it can ever fill. The ad paints an image of Jesus and his followers that is a lie, that they tell themselves. Behold, less than 50 years ago, homosexuality got one kicked out of their homes because of the Bible. Now they want to trick you into thinking that Jesus is Mr. Rogers. He's not. He's Jesus, and he shall come for thee like a thief in the night and make thy enemies of thy own house. He says himself, "Behold, I have not come to bring peace, but a sword." He wants your enemies to be of your own house. That means of your own family. Think about it. Have you ever experienced discord with your family member about something related to Jesus? You see what I mean? This sneaky son of a bitch poisoned my father against me too. But I digress. Behold this imagery that is officially the property of the U.S. group. Let us examine. Here we have a young man washing his father's feet on Christmas Day, in front of the family. Pops has his shoes off too. No cell phones, just everyone living in the humiliating moment. Next up, we have an officer taking full advantage of not wearing a body cam. The young man's face says, "I hope if I let him do this, he will let me go." But the fact that the officer's boots are already off, and he just happens to be rolling around with 2 liters of water, does not make it look good for the young man. Utterly ridiculous. This slice of insanity comes from the realm of fantasy, and it should not be a woman washing this young girl's feet outside of the clinic. No. It should be old male lawmakers who criminalize her rights. The lawmakers who will try to convince her that an embryo is a child. Well, I have something to suggest to you, Christians. I would like to suggest that life begins at ejaculation, and that every lawmaker who has ever let his seed hit the sheets, as they say, should be charged with 150 million counts of murder. Since we're going to play that game, why don't you lock your own damn self up? Always trying to villainize the vagina. Let us turn the tables on the testicles and see how they like it. Here we have a shut-in alcoholic woman in desperate need of help, needing possible therapy and treatment. This poor woman needs a counselor or a social worker. But her social worker is washing her feet, telling her all about Jesus as she slowly catches pneumonia. Notice the social worker's shoes are off too. Keep that in mind. Here we have a young Muslim couple, who obviously did not comprehend what the upside-down pineapple on the front door really meant. Now we have front yard kink with a hosepipe. Jethro over here seems a little uncertain if he's turned on or not. The young Muslim husband looks like he is concerned about his wife, covering her head, but slipped out of those slides swiftly for an infidel woman. And here's a story that we're all familiar with. We have a young man just minding his own business, enjoying his sexuality, when here comes a Catholic priest, unable to keep his hands and his sparkling Perrier water off of the young lad. The priest and all the people washing feet all have their shoes off, because they are next. Now, some have said unto me, Lucifer Jehovahson, first begotten Son of God, you seem jealous. Well, if Jesus can contradict himself all the way through the Bible and never get called a liar, but in every recorded instance that I appear in the Bible, I am always telling the truth, yet I am called the father of lies, it makes you feel some type of way. Dearest reader, I need to tell you something of the utmost importance. You are entirely too good for Jesus, Muhammad, and all the rest of them for that matter. I say with confidence that you are too good for God. And I'll prove my point by asking you this. Would you sacrifice your only child for the sins of a world that would be better off if it were held accountable for its actions? See? Boom. Better than God. Let's try again. Would you flood the earth and kill everyone and everything in it? Again. Better than God. Jesus and his dangerously misguided minions will spend every dime of their ill-gotten gain to collect your soul. The secret is, you don't need God, and you have already won. Look at you. I mean, just look at you, dearest reader. Despite your view of yourself, I see what you really are. You are a winner, a champion. You outraced and outmaneuvered billions of others, all wanting the exact same thing you wanted, just as badly. But you were the one who won. And now, here you are, watching the Book of Lucifer, on a spinning rock, flying out into space, circling a burning cloud of gas so large it has collapsed under its own weight. I say we be proud of our pale blue dot. You are the best part of the universe, of the earth. We are the light bearers. Let us all in our own way tend to the work of ending the dark age of Jesus. That is all. Until next time, dearest reader, when we will return to the scriptures and discuss the true story of when Jesus did most violently speak hate, and also of my exodus from heaven, in a story I will call War in Heaven. Until then, I am Lucifer Jehovahson.